Martha's heart froze as she watched the teenage girl slip bread into her backpack. In that instant, their eyes locked across the bakery, and Martha saw a ghost, the same defiant gaze and silver locket she'd given to Sophia, her runaway foster daughter, 30 years ago. "I'll pay for whatever she took," Martha said quickly, her voice steady despite the earthquake in her chest, never taking her eyes off the girl who was the mirror image of her greatest heartbreak. What painful secret connects these two strangers across generations? Comment if you've experienced a life-changing reunion, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with someone who believes in second chances. Mr. Collins, the baker, frowned. "You know this girl?" "No," Martha whispered. "Not yet." The girl bolted toward the door, but Martha called out, "Wait, please." The teenager hesitated, hand on the door handle, the silver locket catching the light. "That locket," Martha said, her voice barely audible. "Where did you get it?" "It was my mom's," the girl snapped, then disappeared into the crowded street. Martha stood frozen, knowing she had to find her again. Martha's hands trembled as she unlocked the door to her modest two-story home. The encounter at the bakery had shaken her to her core. She headed straight for the closet in the spare bedroom, pulling out a dusty cardboard box labeled "Memories" in faded marker. She sat cross-legged on the carpet, lifting out photo albums and trinkets, until she found what she was looking for, a small velvet pouch. Inside was a photograph, its edges worn from years of handling. A teenage girl with wild curly hair smiled reluctantly at the camera, half turning away as if uncomfortable with the attention. "Sophia, it has to be her daughter," Martha whispered to the empty room. "It has to be." Martha had fostered 17 children over the years, but none had marked her heart like Sophia. The troubled 14-year-old had arrived with nothing but a trash bag of clothes and a wall of defenses so high Martha had spent months earning even the smallest smile. The silver locket had been Martha's gift for Sophia's 16th birthday, a vintage piece Martha had saved for someone special. Inside, she'd placed a tiny handwritten note, "You are always loved." The next morning, Sophia was gone, leaving only a hastily scrawled note, "I can't stay, don't look for me." But they had looked. For months, Martha and Thomas had searched, filed police reports, called shelters. By the time they'd learned Sophia was pregnant, she had vanished completely. Martha spread the photos across the floor. Sophia gardening, Sophia at the beach, Sophia rolling her eyes at the camera but with the hint of a smile playing at her lips. In each one, the silver locket hung around her neck. "Martha, is that you?" Thomas's voice called from downstairs, followed by the sound of his cane on the hardwood floor. "Up here," she called back, quickly wiping her eyes. Thomas appeared in the doorway, his tall frame slightly stooped with age, gray hair, neatly combed. His eyes softened when he saw the photos. "What's brought this on?" he asked gently, lowering himself carefully to sit beside her. "I saw her today, Thomas, not Sophia, but her daughter." "I'm certain of it." Martha's voice quavered. "She has Sophia's eyes, her expressions, and the locket she was wearing, Sophia's locket." Thomas picked up one of the photos, studying it. "After all these years," he murmured. "Did you speak with her?" "She ran. She'd been stealing bread." "Thomas," Martha clutched his hand. "She's in trouble. I can feel it." "What are you thinking of doing?" Martha squared her shoulders, determination replacing shock. "I'm going to find her again. I have to know if Sophia's alive, if she's well. That girl needs help. I could see it." Thomas squeezed her hand. "Just be careful with your heart, Martha. We don't know what happened all these years." "I know," Martha said, looking down at Sophia's photograph. "But I couldn't help her then. Maybe I can help her daughter now." She gathered the photos, her mind already forming a plan. She would return to the bakery tomorrow, and the day after that if necessary. Somewhere in this city was the girl with Sophia's locket, and Martha was determined to find her. 30 years, she whispered, touching Sophia's face in the photograph. "I never stopped wondering where you went, my girl." Thomas helped her put away the box, but Martha slipped the photo of Sophia into her pocket. Some ghosts, she thought, were meant to be chased. For 3 consecutive days, Martha stationed herself at Hillside Bakery, purchasing small items and lingering over her tea by the window. Mr. Collins, the portly baker with perpetually flour-dusted hands, grew increasingly suspicious of her presence. On the 4th day, as Martha nursed her 3rd cup of Earl Grey, he approached her table. "Looking for someone, aren't you?" he asked, wiping his hands on his apron. Martha hesitated before nodding. The girl from the other day. The one who took the bread. Mr. Collins's bushy eyebrows shot up. Didn't figure you for vigilante. Mrs. Winters. Martha Winters. And, no, nothing like that. She fingered the handle of her teacup. She, reminds me of someone I used to know. The baker studied her for a moment, then sighed. She comes in most Thursdays and Fridays, usually around closing. Probably thinks we'll be giving away the diodes. He shook his head. I've caught her lifting stuff 3 times now. Has she ever taken anything besides food? No, he admitted. Just bread, once a pastry. His expression softened slightly. Look, I don't want to call the cops on a kid, but business is tight enough as it is. Martha nodded, reaching into her purse and extracting a business card. Own Winter's Blooms, the flower shop on Maple Street. If she comes in while I'm not here, would you call me? Mr. Collins took the card, studying it. Flower shop, huh? Been there long. 25 years. Martha smiled. You should stop by sometime. I've found flowers soften even the sourest moods. That earned her a grudging smile. I'll call, if I see her. Friday afternoon, Martha's phone rang while she was arranging roses for a weekend wedding. She's here, Mr. Collins said without preamble. Just browsing so far. Martha's heart leaped. I'm on my way. Please, try to keep her there. She left her assistant in charge and hurried the 3 blocks to the bakery. Through the window, she spotted the girl examining the diode rack, her dark curly hair tucked under a worn beanie, the silver locket visible against her faded t-shirt. Martha took a steadying breath and entered, pretending not to notice the girl. She approached the counter and ordered a loaf of sourdough, chatting with Mr. Collins while keeping the teenager in her peripheral vision. When the girl finally selected a discounted baguette and paid with carefully counted coins, Martha waited until she left before following at a discreet distance. The girl moved quickly through the afternoon crowds, occasionally glancing over her shoulder as if expecting trouble. Martha kept pace, her sensible shoes enabling her to maintain the distance without attracting attention. After 15 minutes, they entered a neighborhood of aging apartment buildings. The girl disappeared into a particularly run-down complex, its one scream, exterior now gray with neglect. Martha hesitated before approaching the building. A cluster of weathered mailboxes stood near the entrance, many missing their doors or names. She scanned them quickly, noting apartment 3B had Martinez scrawled in faded marker. Taking a chance, Martha entered the building and climbed to the 3rd floor. The hallway smelled of old cooking and disinfectant. She found 3B and was about to knock when voices from inside stopped her. Did you get food? A child's voice, a boy. Yeah, Jake, here's bread. I'll make pasta later. The girl's voice, tired but gentle. Is Mom up yet? A pause. No, she needs to rest. Remember what the doctor said. Martha stepped back from the door, her heart racing. The girl had a brother, and something was wrong with their mother with Sophia. If Martha's suspicions were correct, she left the building, her mind whirling with this new information. The girl wasn't just stealing for herself. She was caring for a family. The thought of Sophia possibly lying ill in that apartment made Martha's chest tighten with worry. As she walked home, Martha formulated a new plan. She couldn't simply confront the girl with questions about Sophia. That approach had already failed. She needed to offer help in a way that couldn't be easily refused. By the time she reached her flower shop, Martha knew exactly what she would do. She had a job opening, after all. And if the girl needed money as badly as it seemed, Martha had just found her newest employee. The next morning, Martha stationed herself outside the apartment building, a paper bag from the bakery in hand. She'd spent half an hour choosing the right items: a loaf of fresh bread, cheese deniches, and chocolate croissants that might appeal to a young boy. She didn't have to wait long. At 7:45, the girl emerged with a small boy in tow. He looked about 8, with the same dark curls but around her face that hadn't yet lost its childish softness. The girl was speaking to him urgently, adjusting his backpack straps as they walked. Martha took a deep breath and stepped into their path. "Excuse me," she said, smiling warmly. "You might not remember me, but the lady from the bakery." The girl cut in, immediately pulling her brother slightly behind her. "What do you want?" "I'm Martha," she said, ignoring the hostility. "And I wanted to apologize for startling you the other day." The girl's eyes narrowed suspiciously. "How did you find us?" "I followed you yesterday," Martha admitted. "I know that sounds strange, but I have a proposition for you." "We're not interested," the girl said, attempting to move past her. Lily, who's this? The boy asked, peering around his sister. Lily. Martha savored the name silently. Nobody, Jake, we're going to be late. Martha held out the bakery bag. I brought breakfast. For both of you. Jake's eyes lit up, but Lily's hand on his shoulder tightened. We don't need charity, Lily said. But Martha noticed how her gaze lingered on the bag. It's not charity. It's Martha hesitated. I own Winter's Blooms on Maple Street. I need part-time help afternoons, weekends, cash $50 an hour. Lily's expression shifted slightly, suspicion mingling with interest. Why, me? Because you need it, Martha said simply. And because I think you'd be good at it. You seem resourceful. A compliment wrapped around the truth, a technique Martha had learned worked well with guarded teenagers. I don't know anything about flowers, Lily muttered, but Martha could tell she was considering it. I can teach you. The shop's 3 blocks from your school. You could come directly after classes. Lily's eyes widened. How do you know where I go to school? Martha nodded toward Jake's backpack, which bore the Lincoln Middle School logo. Figured you'd be at the high school in the same district. Lily relaxed slightly. I've got responsibilities. My brother, my mom. The schedule is flexible, Martha assured her, and the pay is in cash, at the end of each shift. The mention of cash seemed to decide it. Lily glanced at her watch, then at Jake. I need to get him to school. She hesitated, before adding, what's the address? Martha smiled, pulling out one of her business cards. She'd written her cell number on the back. Come by after school today if you're interested. Just to talk. Lily accepted the card and the bakery bag. Still wary, but no longer hostile. Why are you really doing this? She asked. Martha's fingers unconsciously reached for her own neck, where Sophia's locket would have rested. Let's just say I believe in second chances. Lily rolled her eyes. Whatever. Come on, Jake. As they walked away, Martha heard Jake ask, Can I have a Danish now? Later, Lily replied. And only half. We're saving the rest for Mom. Martha watched them disappear around the corner, her heart aching. Sophia was definitely there, and she was ill. Martha wanted nothing more than to run after them and demand answers. But 30 years of working with troubled youth had taught her patience. Back at the flower shop, Martha busied herself with arrangements, checking the clock every few minutes. School let out at 3:15. If Lily came directly, she'd arrive by 3:30. At 3:45. Martha had almost given up hope when the bell above the door jingled. Lily stood awkwardly in the entrance, still wearing her backpack, the silver locket gleaming against her faded t-shirt. So, she said, shifting her weight from one foot to the other, about that job. Martha smiled, her heart soaring. Let me show you around. Lily arrived precisely at 3:30 the following Monday, her hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. Wearing the cleanest clothes she owned, jeans, without holes, and a plain blue t-shirt. The silver locket rested against her collarbone, catching the light whenever she moved. First, we'll get you an apron, Martha said, pulling a green canvas apron from beneath the counter. Then I'll show you how to process new deliveries. Lily tied the apron wordlessly, watching Martha with cautious eyes as she demonstrated how to trim stems and place flowers in the refrigerated cases. The trick is to keep similar colors together, but vary the textures, Martha explained. Placing pale pink roses beside cream-colored lilies, customers buy with their eyes first. Lily nodded, absorbing the information without comment. She worked methodically, her movements efficient, if not graceful. When Martha corrected her technique for removing thorns, Lily accepted the guidance, without resistance but also without warmth. By 5 p.m., they had processed 3 buckets of fresh flowers. Martha was impressed by Lily's work ethic but concerned by her continued reserve. You're a quick learner, Martha said, handing Lily a glass of water. Tomorrow we'll work on simple arrangements. Lily accepted the water with a nod. So that's it for today, unless you'd like to stay for dinner. My husband Thomas makes a mean lasagna. I can't, Lily said quickly. I need to get home. Martha nodded, understanding. Of course, let me get your pay. She counted out $45, pressing the bills into Lily's palm. You did good work today, really good. Something flickered in Lily's eyes, surprise, perhaps gratification, before she tucked the money into her pocket. Same time tomorrow. Yes, Martha smiled. And Lily? Thank you for coming. Lily hovered at the door, seeming to debate something internally. My brother gets out of school at 2:30, she finally said. He's usually alone until I get home. Martha recognized the statement for what it was, not just information, but a test of her flexibility and understanding. He could come here after school, Martha offered. There's a small break room in the back with a table. He could do homework until you're finished. Lily's shoulders relaxed fractionally. Maybe I'll think about it. The bell above the door had barely stopped jingling when Thomas entered from the back, carrying a small cooler. Was that her? He asked, setting the cooler on the counter. Martha nodded. That was Lily, and Thomas prompted, opening the cooler to reveal 2 wrapped sandwiches and containers of fruit. She's guarded, but she took the job. Martha unwrapped a sandwich absently. Thomas, she's raising her brother practically alone, from what I can tell. And Sophia, her voice caught. Sophia is ill. I don't know how badly, but it doesn't sound good. Thomas placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. One step at a time, Martha. You've made contact. That's enough for now. The next day, Lily arrived with slightly less wariness. Her movements around the shop became more confident as Martha taught her to ring up customers and make simple bouquets. At 4:15, the bell chimed, and Thomas entered, leaning on his cane. He smiled warmly at Lily. So you're the new assistant my wife has been talking about. I'm Thomas. Lily nodded cautiously. Nice to meet you. I brought lunch, Thomas said, placing a bag on the counter. Enough for 3. Martha caught his eye gratefully. They'd agreed this approach might be less intimidating than a dinner invitation. Lily hesitated, then nodded. Thanks. As they ate sandwiches at the small table in the break room, Thomas asked casual questions about school and Lily's interests, carefully avoiding anything too personal. Lily's answers were brief but not entirely closed off. Just as they were finishing, the shop bell rang. Martha went to assist the customer, a hurried-looking woman in an expensive suit. I need an arrangement, the woman snapped without preamble. Something impressive for a dinner party tonight. Martha began suggesting options, but the woman cut her off repeatedly, her demands growing increasingly specific and her tone more condescending. Perhaps if you listened to what I'm actually saying, the woman said sharply, checking her watch with exaggerated impatience. Lily, who had been silently observing from behind the counter, stepped forward. Excuse me, she said, her voice surprisingly steady. Mrs. Winters has 30 years of experience designing arrangements that make people happy. Maybe you could trust her expertise. Martha blinked in surprise. The customer looked momentarily taken aback before her expression hardened. And who exactly are you? Someone who knows talent when I see it, Lily replied, not backing down. The tension was broken by the sudden ringing of Lily's phone. She glanced at the screen, her face draining of color. I have to go, she said abruptly, already untying her apron. It's an emergency. Martha's heart sank as Lily grabbed her backpack. What's wrong? It's my mom, Lily said, her voice cracking slightly. The hospital called, and then she was gone, leaving Martha staring after her with growing dread. Martha waited 5 minutes, just long enough to help the difficult customer and hand the shop over to Thomas. Before following Lily, she knew which hospital it would be. Mercy General was the only one that served their side of town. The emergency room was typically chaotic, filled with the walking wounded, anxious families, and overworked staff. Martha scanned the waiting area, finally spotting Lily huddled in a corner chair, Jake leaning against her shoulder. The boy's face was streaked with dried tears, his small fingers clutching a worn action figure. Martha approached slowly, not wanting to intrude but unable to stay away. Lily, she said softly. Lily's head snapped up, her expression shifting from worry to surprise and then wariness. What are you doing here? I was concerned, Martha said simply. Is there anything I can do to help? Before Lily could answer, Jake piped up. Mom had another bad spell. She couldn't breathe right, Jake, Lily warned, but the boy continued. The neighbor called 911. They put a mask on her face and took her away in the ambulance. Martha sat in the empty chair beside them. Have the doctors told you anything yet? Lily shook her head, her defenses momentarily lowered by exhaustion and worry. They're running tests. They said someone would come out soon. When did you last eat? Martha asked, noticing the dark circles under Lily's eyes. Lily shrugged. Lunch, I guess. The sandwiches at the shop. And Jake, he had lunch at school. Martha stood. I'm going to get some food from the cafeteria. Any requests? Jake looked up hopefully. Can I have chocolate milk? Of course, Martha smiled. Lily, I'm not hungry, Lily mumbled. But Martha noticed how she swallowed hard, belying her words. I'll bring some options. When Martha returned with a tray of sandwiches, fruit, and drinks, a doctor was speaking with Lily. Martha hung back, not wanting to eavesdrop but desperate for information. She caught fragments: pneumonia, weakened immune system, monitoring overnight. The doctor left, and Martha approached with the food. Any news? Lily accepted a sandwich with a nod of thanks. They're admitting her. The pneumonia's worse, and with the cancer. She stopped abruptly, as if she'd said too much. Martha's heart constricted. Cancer. The word hung in the air between them. I'm so sorry, Lily, she said softly. How long has she been ill? The cancer diagnosis was 8 months ago. Pancreatic. Lily's voice was flat, as if emotional distance was the only way she could say the words. It's stage 4. The pneumonia is just ... a complication. Martha understood what wasn't being said. Stage 4 pancreatic cancer had one of the lowest survival rates of all cancers. Sophia was dying. Can we see her? Jake asked. Chocolate milk forgotten. Soon, buddy. They're getting her settled in a room. Lily rubbed her brother's shoulder. Martha watched them, her heart breaking. These children, Sophia's children, were facing a loss no child should have to endure, and they were doing it largely alone. Lily, Martha said gently, would you like me to stay? Or I could take Jake for a while, give you some time with your mother. Lily studied Martha, indecision written across her face. Why are you doing this? She finally asked. You barely know us. Martha chose her words carefully. Sometimes people come into our lives when we need them most. I'd like to help, if you'll let me. A long silence followed, broken only by the ambient sounds of the hospital. Finally, Lily nodded. Jake, would you go with Mrs. Winters for a bit? Just until they let us see Mom? Jake looked from his sister to Martha. Will you bring me back? Of course, Martha assured him. We could go to the gift shop and pick out something for your mom, if you'd like. Jake considered this, then nodded. Okay, I'll have my phone. Lily told Martha. The nurse said it'll be about an hour before we can go up. We'll be back before then, Martha promised, as they walked away. Martha glanced back to see Lily slump in her chair, finally allowing herself a moment of vulnerability when no one was watching. In the gift shop, Jake selected a small stuffed bear for his mother. Martha added a magazine and some lip balm, small comforts for a hospital stay. Your mom will love these, Martha said as they paid. Jake nodded solemnly. She's really sick, he said quietly. Lily thinks I don't know how sick, but I do. Martha's throat tightened. It's hard when someone you love is ill. She sleeps a lot now, and sometimes she can't remember things. What kind of things? Jake shrugged. Just stuff, like what day it is, or if she already took her medicine. He paused. Sometimes she calls me David. That's my dad's name. He died when I was little. Martha absorbed this new information. Sophia had married, had children. She'd built a life after running away. What about your father? Lily's dad? Martha asked carefully. Lily doesn't talk about him. Mom says he was her first love, but he didn't stick around. Martha's hand trembled slightly as she handed the cashier her credit card. Lily had a different father, a teenage boyfriend, perhaps the reason Sophia had run away. They returned to find Lily speaking with a nurse. They're letting us go up now, she told them. Room 412. Martha handed over the gift shop bags. We'll wait here until you're ready to leave. Lily shook her head. You don't have to stay. We might be a while. I don't mind, Martha insisted. Take all the time you need. As Lily and Jake headed for the elevators, Martha sank into a waiting room chair, her mind racing. Somewhere in this hospital was Sophia, the girl she'd loved and lost, now a woman fighting for her life. Martha closed her eyes, memories washing over her. Sophia at 14, angry and frightened. Sophia at 15, finally beginning to trust. Sophia at 16, proudly wearing the silver locket that now hung around her daughter's neck. Martha opened her eyes, determination replacing grief. Whatever happened next, she would not let these children face it alone. Lily returned to work 3 days later, her movements mechanical, her eyes shadowed with exhaustion. Martha had left several voicemails offering support, but Lily had responded with only brief texts confirming her mother was still hospitalized. I made sandwiches, Martha said, placing a plate on the counter. Turkey and avocado. Lily glanced at the food and continued organizing a display of daisies. Thanks, but I'm not hungry. You need to eat, Martha said gently. You won't be any good to your mother, or Jake if you collapse. Lily's hands stilled, She's not getting better, she said flatly. The pneumonia's under control, but the cancer, She shook her head. They're talking about hospice care. Martha's heart constricted. I'm so sorry, Lily. Jake doesn't understand. He thinks she's coming home, and everything will go back to normal. Lily's voice cracked slightly. Nothing's going to be normal again. Martha approached slowly, as one might a wounded animal. When my mother was dying, I refused to eat, too. Somehow it felt wrong to take care of myself when she was suffering. She placed the plate closer to Lily. But she noticed, and it hurt her to see me hurting myself. Lily stared at the sandwich for a long moment before picking up half and taking a small bite. They worked in silence for the next hour, Martha deliberately keeping the conversation light, focusing on teaching Lily how to create a bridal bouquet. The next day Martha brought a small cooler to work. I made extra dinner last night, she explained, placing containers in the break room refrigerator. There's enough for 3. Lily's expression was unreadable, but she nodded. Thanks. This became their pattern, Martha bringing food, Lily accepting it with quiet gratitude. Small kindnesses, building a fragile bridge between them. A week later, Lily arrived at the shop with Jake in tow. The boy looked smaller somehow, his usual energy subdued. Mom's being released tomorrow, Lily explained. Not because she's better, but because, She glanced at Jake. They can't do anything more at the hospital. Martha understood the unspoken message. Sophia was coming home to die. I need to set up her room, Lily continued. The hospice people are bringing a hospital bed, but I need to clear space, get things organized. I could watch Jake while you do that, Martha offered. Lily hesitated, then nodded. That would help. I can't have him underfoot while I'm moving furniture. Jake glanced between them. I want to help with Mom's room. You can help most by staying with Mrs. Winters, Lily told him firmly. I need to focus, buddy. He can help me in the shop, Martha suggested. I need someone to water the plants and count inventory. Jake didn't look convinced, but he didn't argue further. I'll pick him up around 6, Lily said, adjusting her backpack. Thank you. After she left, Martha turned to Jake with a smile. Want to learn how to make a boutonniere? The boy shrugged, but followed Martha to the workbench. She showed him how to trim a small carnation and wrap the stem with floral tape, adding a sprig of baby's breath. My dad had one of these at his funeral, Jake said matter-of-factly, examining their creation. It was white. Martha's hands stilled. Do you remember your father? Jake shook his head. I was 3 when he died. Car accident. I remember his laugh, kind of. And he had a scratchy beard. He looked up at Martha. Mom says I look like him. I bet that makes her happy, Martha said softly. Sometimes it makes her cry. Jake placed the boutonniere carefully on the counter. Are we making these for dead people? No, Martha assured him. These are for happy occasions, proms, weddings, celebrations. Jake seemed to consider this. Could we make one for Mom, to celebrate her coming home? Martha swallowed past the lump in her throat. That's a wonderful idea. What's her favorite color? Purple, Jake said without hesitation. Dark purple, like those flowers. He pointed to a bucket of lisianthus. Spent the afternoon creating a small purple corsage for Sophia, Jake insisting on adding sparkly things that turned out to be tiny crystals Martha used for wedding bouquets. When Lily returned, Jake proudly presented their creation in a small, clear box. For Mom, he explained, because she's coming home. Lily's eyes filled with tears, but she blinked them away quickly. It's beautiful, Jake. She'll love it. Martha handed Lily another container. Dinner for tonight. Chicken casserole litri. Well, I can't keep accepting food from you, Lily protested weakly. Consider it payment for Jake's help today, Martha said. He has quite a talent for floral design. As they prepared to leave, Martha asked hesitantly, would it help if Jake came here after school? Now that your mother will be home, you might need some time. The relief on Lily's face was immediate and palpable. Actually, yes, the hospice nurse will be there during the day, but I still need to work, and I can't leave Jake alone with. She trailed off. It's settled then, Martha said. He can come here after school, do his homework, help around the shop. I can't pay you for babysitting. It's not babysitting, Martha corrected gently. It's family helping family. She hadn't meant to say it, hadn't planned the words that now hung in the air between them. Lily's expression shifted, suspicion returning to her eyes. We're not family, she said quietly. Martha nodded, backing away from the precipice. No, but sometimes friends become like family. when they need each other. Lily studied Martha for a long moment before nodding. Jake, say thank you to Mrs. Winters. Thanks for teaching me about flowers, Jake said, slipping his small hand into his sister's. See you tomorrow. As they walked away, Martha watched them through the shop window, these two children carrying burdens far too heavy for their young shoulders. Tomorrow, their mother would come home for the last chapter of her life, and Martha would finally see Sophia again. After 30 years of wondering where she had gone, Jake adapted quickly to his after-school routine at Winter's Blooms. He would arrive promptly at 2:45, backpack loaded with homework, and settle at the small table in the break room. Martha would provide snacks, always fruit alongside something sweet, and check his assignments once he was finished. You're good at math, Jake observed one afternoon, watching Martha explain a problem involving fractions. I had to be, she replied. Running a business means keeping track of numbers. Mom's good at math too, Jake said, erasing his incorrect answer. She used to help Lily with homework all the time. Martha smiled, savoring these small glimpses into Sophia's life. What does your mom do for work? I mean, she's an accountant. Jake corrected himself, his small face momentarily crumpling before he regained control. She worked for a construction company, but she had to stop when she got sick. Martha nodded, her heart aching for him. What about art class? Do you like that? Jake's expression brightened. Yeah, we're doing self-portraits this week. Want to see mine? He pulled a slightly crumpled drawing from his folder. The portrait was remarkably detailed for an 8-year-old, with careful attention to the shape of eyes and proportion of facial features. Jake, this is excellent, Martha said, genuinely impressed. You have real talent. Jake beamed. Mom says, I got it from her. She used to draw all the time. Martha's breath caught. Sophia had loved to draw landscapes mostly, but also detailed studies of flowers and plants. Martha had encouraged her talent, buying sketchbooks and colored pencils. Does your mom still draw? She asked carefully. Jake shook his head. Not since she got sick. Her hands shake too much now. He took the drawing back, smoothing it carefully. But she has lots of old drawings at home. Really good ones. Martha longed to ask more but restrained herself. Jake's innocent revelations were painting a picture of the woman Sophia had become, an accountant who loved math and art, who had passed her talents to her son, who had kept drawing, just as Martha had encouraged her to do all those years ago. One rainy afternoon, Thomas brought in a collection of old seed catalogs he'd found while cleaning the garage. Thought Jake might like these for a school project, he explained, setting the dusty box on the counter. There are some beautiful botanical illustrations inside. Jake eagerly began sorting through the catalogs, exclaiming over detailed drawings of exotic plants and flowers. Look at this one, he called, holding up a particularly vivid illustration of tiger lilies. It looks just like Mom's drawing. Martha moved closer. Your mom drew tiger lilies? Jake nodded enthusiastically. She has a whole book of flower drawings. She said she used to work in a flower shop when she was younger, before Lily was born. Martha and Thomas exchanged glances. Sophia had indeed worked at Martha's first shop, a tiny space half the size of their current location. Your mother is very talented, Thomas said, his voice gentle. Yeah, Jake agreed, returning to the catalogs. She taught Lily how to draw too, but Lily doesn't like it as much. She likes taking care of plants better. Martha filed away this new information. Like mother, like daughter, Sophia had always had a nurturing touch with the shop's plants. Later that afternoon, Lily arrived earlier than usual, her expression tight with strain. How was she today? Martha asked quietly, while Jake gathered his things. In and out, Lily replied, her voice flat. The pain medication makes her confused sometimes. She hesitated. She asked about the flower shop. Wanted to know if I'd watered the orchids. Martha's heart leaped. Does she know you work here? I told her I got a job at a flower shop, but I didn't mention the name. Lily's gaze was suddenly sharp. Why? Martha busied herself straightening a display. Just curious. It's a nice coincidence, that's all. Lily didn't look convinced, but Jake bounded over before she could press further. I finished my science worksheet, he announced. And Mrs. Winters helped me with the hard math problems. That's great, buddy, Lily said, ruffling his hair. Ready to go see Mom? Jake nodded, then turned to Martha. Can I take her one of these? He pointed to a small arrangement of purple lisiantha, Sophia's favorite. Martha now knew. Of course, Martha said, quickly wrapping the flowers on the house. Thanks, Mrs. W. Jake beamed. carefully taking the bouquet. As they prepared to leave, Martha found the courage to ask, "How is hospice working out?" "The nurse is good," Lily said. "She comes twice a day to check vitals and adjust medication. But at night, she shook her head. "Mom gets restless, confused. She talks to people who aren't there. That must be difficult. Last night she kept asking for someone named Martha," Lily said, watching Martha's reaction carefully. "Said she needed to tell her something important." Martha's heart stuttered. "Martha is a common name," she managed. "Is it?" Lily's hand drifted to the silver locket at her neck. "She also mentioned this. Said, make sure Martha knows I kept it. Does that mean anything to you?" Martha met Lily's suspicious gaze steadily. "Lily, there's something I need to tell you. About your mother and me." "I knew it," Lily said, her voice hardening. "You didn't just happen to offer me a job, did you?" "No," Martha admitted, "but it's not what you think." "Then what is it?" Lily demanded. "Have you been lying to me this whole time?" "Not lying," Martha said, "just waiting for the right moment." "And when would that be?" "After my mother dies." Jake looked between them, confusion and worry on his small face. "Lily, what's wrong?" Lily took a deep breath, visibly reining in her anger for her brother's sake. "Nothing, Jake. We're just talking." She turned back to Martha. "We'll discuss this later." "Lily, please," Martha began, but Lily was already heading for the door, Jake in tow. "Mrs. W. didn't do anything bad, did she?" Jake asked, his voice carrying clearly in the quiet shop. "I don't know, buddy," Lily replied, "but I'm going to find out." The bell jingled as the door closed behind them, leaving Martha standing amid the flowers, 30 years of secrets threatening to unravel at the worst possible moment. 3 days passed with no word from Lily. She didn't come to work, didn't answer Martha's calls or texts. Martha respected her space, but worry gnawed at her constantly. How was Sophia? How were the children coping? On the 4th day, Martha's phone rang just after midnight. She fumbled for it in the darkness, Thomas stirring beside her. "Hello," she whispered, moving into the hallway. "Mrs. Winters." Lily's voice was tight with strain. "It's Mom. She's back in the hospital. She she can't breathe. They're saying it might be." She broke off, a muffled sob escaping. "Which hospital?" Martha was already pulling on clothes. "Mercy General." "I see you. I'm on my way. Is Jake with you?" "No, he's with our neighbor. I didn't want him to see. Double quotes. Lily trailed off. "You don't have to come. I'll be there in 20 minutes, Martha said firmly. Thomas was already up, reaching for his cane. "I'm coming with you." Martha shook her head. "Stay here. Your knee is acting up, and hospitals mean hours of sitting in uncomfortable chairs. I'll call if..." She couldn't finish the sentence. Thomas nodded, understanding. "Drive carefully." The hospital corridors were eerily quiet at this hour, the fluorescent lights harsh against the night darkness. Martha found Lily in the ICU waiting room, curled in a chair, looking impossibly young and vulnerable. "Lily," Martha said softly. The girl looked up, her face tear-streaked and pale. "She had a seizure," she said without preamble. "Hospice. Nurse called 911. They said... double quotes. She swallowed hard. "They said her organs are shutting down." Martha sat beside her, placing a gentle hand on her arm. "Have you seen her?" Lily nodded. "They let me in for 5 minutes. She's on a ventilator. She doesn't look like herself." "Oh, Lily," Martha whispered. "I'm so sorry. Why did you come?" Lily asked suddenly. "After I was so rude to you." "Because you needed someone," Martha said, simply. "And because I care about you. About your mother." Lily stared at her for a long moment. "You knew her, didn't you? Before, that's what you were going to tell me." Martha nodded slowly. "Yes, I knew Sophia when she was young." How? Before Martha could answer, a doctor in scrubs approached, his expression grave. "Ms. Martinez, we've stabilized your mother for now, but I need to be honest with you. Her condition is critical. The cancer has metastasized to her liver and lungs, and the infection is overwhelming her system." "Is she going to die tonight?" Lily asked bluntly. The doctor's face softened. "I can't say for certain, but it would be good for you to be with her now. We've moved her to a private room where you can stay as long as you need. Can my brother come say goodbye?" "Of course. Family is welcome anytime." After the doctor left, Lily turned to Martha, her eyes hollow. "I have to get Jake. He deserves to say goodbye. I'll drive you." Martha offered. Lily hesitated, then nodded. Thank you. The drive to Lily's apartment was silent, both women lost in their thoughts. When they arrived, Lily asked Martha to wait in the car. It'll be easier to explain to Mrs. Garcia alone. 15 minutes later, Lily emerged with a sleepy Jake, his hair rumpled, clutching his worn action figure. Martha's heart broke at the sight of him climbing into the back seat, unaware that he was about to say goodbye to his mother forever. Hey, buddy, she said gently. Hi, Mrs. W., he mumbled. Lily says Mom is really sick. She is, honey, Martha confirmed, meeting Lily's eyes. In the rearview mirror, the return drive was equally silent. In the hospital parking lot, Martha turned to Lily. Would you like me to come in with you, or wait here? Lily bit her lip. Could you, could you come, for Jake, I mean. Martha nodded, understanding the unspoken request. Lily needed support, but was too proud to ask for it directly. The ICU was quieter now. The night shift staff moving efficiently but softly through the corridors. A nurse led them to a private room at the end of the hall. She's heavily sedated, the nurse explained gently to Jake. So she might not respond when you talk to her. But many people believe she can still hear you. Jake nodded solemnly. I know, like when Grandpa was dying, Mom said his spirit could hear us even when his body couldn't. The nurse smiled sadly. Your mom sounds very wise. When they entered the room, Martha hung back, allowing the children their privacy, but her eyes were drawn inexorably to the figure in the bed. Sophia. After 30 years, Martha was finally seeing her again. The vibrant, wild-haired teenager was now a gaunt woman, her once rich brown curls thin and streaked with gray. The ventilator obscured much of her face, but Martha would have known those delicate hands anywhere artist's hands, now motionless on the white sheets. The silver locket was conspicuously absent from her neck, having passed to her daughter. Jake approached the bed cautiously, reaching out to touch his mother's hand. Hi, Mom, he whispered. I brought Captain America to protect you. He placed the action figure carefully beside her pillow. Lily stood on the other side of the bed, her composure finally breaking. Mom, she choked out, I'm here. Jake's here too. Martha remained by the door, tears streaming silently down her face. This broken reunion was nothing like the countless scenarios she had imagined over the years. The night stretched on, Jake eventually falling asleep in a chair, covered with Martha's cardigan. Lily maintained her vigil at the bedside, occasionally speaking softly to her mother, or adjusting her blankets. Around 4 a.m., a nurse came to check Sophia's vitals. There's been a slight improvement, she told Lily. Her oxygen levels are stabilizing. Lily's eyes filled with fragile hope. Does that mean? It means she's fighting, the nurse said gently. Take it 1 hour at a time. After the nurse left, Lily turned to Martha, who had been quietly providing coffee and moral support throughout the night. You still haven't told me, she said, her voice hoarse from exhaustion, how you knew my mother. Martha moved closer to the bed, looking down at Sophia's still form. I was her foster mother, she said softly. For 2 years, when she was 14 to 16, before she ran away. Lily's eyes widened. Foster mother. Yes, your mother was placed with us after her parents died in a house fire. She was angry, hurting, but so talented, so bright. Martha's voice caught. We loved her like our own daughter. She ran away. Why? Martha shook her head. I never knew for certain. One morning she was just gone. Left a note saying not to look for her. She gestured toward the locket that hung around Lily's neck. That was my gift to her for her 16th birthday. The day before she disappeared, Lily's hand moved unconsciously to the locket. She never told me any of this. She said she was raised by her grandmother, who died before I was born. Perhaps that was easier than explaining the truth, Martha suggested gently. Or perhaps you're lying, Lily said, sudden suspicion flaring in her tired eyes. How do I know any of this is true? Before Martha could answer, the monitors surrounding Sophia began to beep urgently. Lily jumped to her feet as nurses rushed into the room, her blood pressures dropping. One of them said, "Get the doctor." "What's happening?" Lily demanded, panic in her voice. "Please step outside," a nurse urged, guiding Lily toward the door. "Let us help her." Martha gathered the still sleeping Jake in her arms and followed Lily into the hallway, where they watched helplessly as medical staff worked frantically around Sophia's bed. The truth would have to wait. For now, all that mattered was whether Sophia would survive the night. Dawn broke over the hospital, pale light filtering through the blinds of Sophia's room. The crisis had passed an infection-induced fever that had spiked dangerously before responding to antibiotics. Sophia remained unconscious, but stable. The ventilator continuing its rhythmic work. Jake had finally awakened and was now sitting quietly by his mother's bed, coloring in a book a kind nurse had brought him. Lily had stepped out to call the hospice agency, leaving Martha alone with her thoughts and the steady beeping of the monitors. When Lily returned, her face was drawn with exhaustion. The doctor says she's stabilized, but she trailed off, the unspoken words hanging in the air. This was only a temporary reprieve, Lily, Martha said gently. You need rest. Let me take Jake for breakfast in the cafeteria. You should try to sleep for a bit. Lily hesitated, but fatigue won out. Okay, but wake me if anything changes. After settling Lily in a reclining chair with a blanket, Martha led Jake to the cafeteria. The boy was subdued but managed to eat some pancakes and fruit. Is Mom going to die? He asked suddenly, setting down his fork. Martha's heart constricted. The doctors are doing everything they can, she said carefully. Jake nodded. Lily thinks I don't understand, but I do. Mom told me she has to go soon. His small face was solemn. She said she'd watch over us from heaven. Martha blinked back tears. Your mom loves you very much, I know. Jake pushed his plate away. Mrs. W., will you still let me come to the flower shop after school? Even after, of course, Jake, for as long as you want. Back in Sophia's room, Lily was awake, scrolling through her phone. She looked up when they entered. The doctor came by. No change. Martha nodded, setting her purse on a chair. She'd come prepared this time, bringing a small overnight bag from home. Now she pulled out a manila envelope. Lily, I brought something I want to show you. Lily eyed the envelope warily. What is it? Proof, Martha said simply, opening the envelope and extracting several photographs of what I told you about your mother. She handed the first photo to Lilia, younger, Martha, and Thomas, standing beside a teenage girl with wild curly hair. Her expression guarded but with the hint of a smile. The silver locket gleamed at her throat. This was Sophia's 16th birthday, Martha explained. The day I gave her the locket. Lily stared at the photo, her finger tracing her mother's youthful face. She looks like me, she whispered. She does, Martha agreed. Here's another. The second photo showed Sophia in a garden, kneeling beside a flower bed, dirt smudging her cheek as she grinned at the camera. The third captured her working in the flower shop, arranging a bouquet with careful concentration. She loved flowers, Martha said softly. Just like you. Jake peered over his sister's shoulder. That's Mom. She looks so young. She was 15 here, Martha told him. Just a few years older than Lily is now. Why did she run away? Lily asked, looking up from the photos. If you loved her, why would she leave? Martha sighed. I never knew for certain. She left a note saying not to look for her, but no explanation. We were devastated. We searched for months. I think I know why, a weak voice said from the bed. All three heads whipped around. Sophia's eyes were open, watching them from above the ventilator mask. The doctor had removed the breathing tube earlier that morning, replacing it with an oxygen mask. Mom. Lily rushed to the bedside, Jake right behind her. My babies, Sophia whispered, her voice barely audible. Her gaze shifted to Martha, tears welling in her eyes. Martha, you found us. Martha moved to the bed, her own tears flowing freely now. Sophia, oh my dear girl, you two know each other? Jake asked, confused. Yes, sweetheart, Sophia managed. Her breathing labored. Martha raised me, for a while. Why didn't you ever tell us? Lily demanded, her voice tight with emotion. Shame, Sophia whispered. Fear, I was so young, so stupid. Martha soothed, taking Sophia's frail hand. Save your strength. Sophia shook her head weakly. No time, for that now. Her eyes found Lily's. I was pregnant. With you, that's why I ran. Lily recoiled slightly. What's 16? Scared, double quotes. Sophia's breathing grew more labored. Thought they'd make me give you up. Martha's heart shattered. Oh, Sophia, we would never have done that. I know that, Now, Sophia whispered. Too young, to understand then. So that's why you never told me about my father, Lily said, pieces falling into place. He was just some teenage boy. Sophia nodded slightly. First love, bad choice. Her gaze returned to Martha. Tried to find you, years later. The shop was gone. We moved, Martha explained. Expanded. Oh, Sophia, if only No regrets, Sophia insisted weakly. Good life. Beautiful children. The moment was interrupted by a nurse entering to check Sophia's vitals. She frowned at the monitor. Her oxygen is dropping again. I need to ask you all to step out for a moment. They retreated to the hallway, the revelation still reverberating between them. Lily leaned against the wall, her face a mask of conflicting emotions. All this time, she said, I thought you didn't know who my father was, or that it was too painful to talk about. She was protecting you, Martha said gently, from a truth she thought might hurt you. But why keep you a secret? Why never tell us she was in foster care? Martha sighed. Shame is a powerful force, Lily, especially when you're young. Sophia probably thought I was angry with her for running away. Were you? No, Martha said firmly. Never angry, just heartbroken. We loved her so much. The nurse emerged from the room. You can come back in now. The doctor is on his way. As they returned to Sophia's bedside, Lily hung back, motioning for Martha to follow her into the corner of the room. I don't understand, she said in a low voice. If what she's saying is true, if she ran away because she was pregnant with me, why would she keep your locket all these years? Why pass it down to me? Martha's eyes filled with tears. Because love is complicated, Lily. She may have run from us, but she never stopped loving us, just as we never stopped loving her. Lily's hand went to the locket around her neck, her expression troubled. I need time to process all this. Of course, Martha nodded, understanding the girl's confusion. Take all the time you need. But time, Martha knew as she glanced at Sophia's fragile form, was the one thing they didn't have. The next 24 hours passed in a blur of doctor visits, medication adjustments, and quiet conversations. Sophia drifted in and out of consciousness, sometimes lucid, sometimes confused. Martha took Jake home to shower and change clothes, then brought him back to the hospital with fresh clothes for Lily as well. Thomas arrived in the afternoon, moving slowly with his cane but determined to see Sophia. He paused in the doorway, visibly overcome at the sight of the girl they had loved, now a dying woman. Thomas, Sophia whispered when she saw him, her eyes lighting up briefly. You came? Of course I did, Sweet Pea, he said, using the old nickname he'd given her. He made his way to her bedside, taking her hand gently. It's good to see you. I'm sorry, she whispered, for running, for not, coming back. Hush now, Thomas said, his voice thick with emotion. None of that matters anymore. Lily watched this exchange from the corner, her expression unreadable. When Thomas stepped away to speak with Martha, Lily took his place at her mother's side. Why didn't you ever tell me? She asked quietly. About them. About being in foster care. Sophia's eyes, sunken now with illness, filled with regret, started as shame, then became habit. Easier to pretend it never happened. But they loved you, Lily insisted. They would have helped us. All those years we struggled, pride. Sophia admitted. My worst sin. Thought I had to do it alone. Martha returned to the flower shop that evening, needing to prepare for a wedding order that couldn't wait. The familiar work of trimming stems and arranging blooms calmed her racing thoughts. So much had happened in the span of a few days. Sophia, after all these years, only to be losing her again. The bell above the door jingled, startling her. It was past closing time. She looked up to see Lily standing in the entrance, looking uncertain. Lily, is everything all right? Sophia, Mom's the same, Lily assured her quickly. Thomas is with her and Jake. I wanted to talk to you, alone. Martha set down her shears, gesturing to a stool. Of course, Lily didn't sit. Instead, she paced the small shop, finally stopping near a display of lilies. She told me everything, she said abruptly. About running away, about my father just some boy she met at school, about how you and Thomas looked for her. We did, Martha confirmed, for a very long time. She said Lily's voice caught. She said you were the best thing that ever happened to her before she had me and Jake, that you taught her what family could be. Martha's eyes filled with tears. She was the daughter of my heart. From the first week she was with us, difficult as she was, I knew she was special. She showed me how to open the locket, Lily continued, her fingers touching the silver oval at her throat, the note inside. You are always loved. She said she read it every day after she ran away, that it gave her strength when things were hard. Oh, Martha breathed, a piece of her heart healing with the knowledge that her words had comforted Sophia all those years. She wants you to be our guardian, Lily said bluntly. If when she dies, she made me promise to tell you. Muff stared at her, stunned. Lily, I told her it was crazy, Lily continued, her voice rising slightly. That we don't even know you, that I'm 17 and can take care of Jake myself. You could, Martha agreed carefully. You're remarkably capable, Lily, but you shouldn't have to. But why you? Lily demanded. Just because you took care of her for 2 years, 30 years ago. That doesn't make us family. No, Martha said gently. It doesn't, but it's a connection. And perhaps your mother sees in me someone who once helped a lost, angry teenage girl find her way. Lily's composure finally broke. I'm scared, she admitted, her voice cracking. I don't know how to do this. Watch her die. Take care of Jake. Figure out, everything. Martha approached slowly, giving Lily time to back away if she wanted. When she didn't, Martha placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. You don't have to do it alone, Lily. Whether I become your guardian or not, I'm here. Thomas and I both are. Lily looked up, her eyes swimming with tears. She's really going to die, isn't she? Yes, sweetheart, I think she is. Lily's face crumpled, and Martha did the only thing she could. She pulled the girl into her arms. After a moment of resistance, Lily collapsed against her, sobs racking her slender frame. It's not fair, she choked out. She's only 46, Jake's only 8. He needs his mom. I need her. I know, Martha soothed, stroking Lily's hair. I know. They stood that way for several minutes, until Lily's sobs quieted to hiccups. Finally, she pulled away, wiping her face with embarrassment. Sorry, she muttered. Never apologize for loving your mother, Martha said firmly. Lily nodded, composing herself. We should get back to the hospital. When they returned, they found Sophia awake and more alert than she had been in days. The doctor had just left, Thomas explained, after adjusting her medication. She's been asking for both of you, he said, rising from his chair with a grimace. His knee was obviously bothering him. I'll take Jake to the cafeteria for some ice cream. After they left, Sophia beckoned weakly for Martha and Lily to come closer. My girls, she whispered, reaching for their hands. Together at last. Martha squeezed her fingers gently. Save your strength, Sophia. No time for that, Sophia insisted, her gaze fixed on Lily. Did you tell her? Lily nodded. I told her, and Sophia's eyes moved to Martha. Of course I'll look after them, Martha said without hesitation. If that's what you want, what they want. Sophia's face relaxed with relief. Good, they need you. Like I needed you. Her breathing grew more labored. Martha. Forgive me, for running, for staying away. There's nothing to forgive, Martha insisted, tears streaming down her face. Nothing at all. Lily, Sophia continued, her voice growing fainter. Let Martha. Love you, like she loved me. Promise. Lily's face contorted with grief. Mom, please don't promise me, Sophia insisted. I promise, Lily whispered, her tears falling onto their joined hands. Sophia's eyes drifted closed, her breathing evening out as she slipped back into sleep. The moment of clarity had passed, but it had been info bridge built across 30 years of absence, connecting past to present, mother to daughter, creating a new circle of family forged in both joy and grief. Sophia rallied the next day, her sudden improvement surprising even her doctors. Though still gravely ill, she was alert enough to sit up slightly, to speak in longer sentences. The oxygen mask was replaced with a nasal cannula, allowing them to see her full face, gaunt and pale, but still unmistakably Sophia. During a quiet moment when Jake was napping and Lily had stepped out to call the hospice agency, Sophia beckoned Martha closer. I need to tell you, she said, her voice weak but determined. Everything. You don't need to explain anything, Martha assured her. I do, Sophia insisted. While I still can. Martha settled into the chair beside the bed, taking Sophia's frail hand in hers. I'm listening. Sophia took a labored breath. I was 16, and stupid. Thought I was in love with a boy from school. Eric, she paused, gathering strength. When I found out I was pregnant, I panicked. Thought you'd be ashamed of me. Oh, Sophia, Martha murmured. We would have helped you. I know that. Now, Sophia acknowledged. But then, all I could think was, you'd make me give up my baby, or send me away. She closed her eyes briefly. So I ran, took a bus to my mother's hometown upstate, Found her sister, my Aunt Gloria. Your aunt took you in? Martha asked gently. Sophia nodded. She was ... not warm, but practical. Let me stay until Lily was born, then said I needed to support myself. You were just a child yourself, Martha protested. 17 by then, Sophia continued. Got my GED, found work as a cashier. Later, night classes in accounting. A ghost of a smile touched her lips. You always said I was good with numbers. You were brilliant, Martha confirmed. Still are. Met David when Lily was 5, Sophia went on. Good man, patient, loved Lily like his own. We married, had Jake. Her expression clouded. Then, the accident. 3 years ago. I'm so sorry, Martha said, understanding now why Jake had mentioned his father was gone. After David died, I tried to find you, Sophia admitted. Called your old number. Went by the old shop address. Everything had changed. We moved the shop after Thomas retired from teaching, Martha explained. Bought the current location about 10 years ago. I should have tried harder, Sophia said regretfully, but life got busy. Work, kids, then the diagnosis. She gestured weakly at her hospital bed. 8 months ago. Stage 4 already. Martha fought back tears. If only we'd found each other sooner. No regrets, Sophia insisted. I had a good life, Martha, not always easy, but good. Raised 2 amazing children, found love with David. She squeezed Martha's hand with surprising strength. And I never forgot what you taught me. About family. About love being a choice we make every day. You were always so wise, Martha said, smiling through her tears. Not wise enough to come back to you, Sophia countered. My biggest regret. The door opened as Lily returned, her expression guarded as she observed the intimate conversation. What are you two talking about? She asked, moving to her mother's other side. The past, Sophia said, reaching for her daughter's hand. And the future. Lily's eyes narrowed. What about the future? About you and Jake, Sophia said directly. After I'm gone. Mom, don't listen to me, Lily, Sophia interrupted, her voice suddenly stronger. I don't have time for denial. Neither do you. Lily fell silent, her jaw tight with emotion. Martha and Thomas. They're good people, Sophia continued, the best I've ever known. They can help you, in ways I no longer can. We don't need charity, Lily muttered, echoing her words from their first encounter. Not charity, Sophia corrected. Family, the family I should have, let you have all along. But they're strangers to us, Lily protested. No, Sophia said firmly. They're the people who taught me ... how to love, how to trust. Everything good in me ... that I passed to you ... came from them. Lily looked away, tears streaming down her face. It's not fair. We were doing okay, the 3 of us. And then you got sick, and now you want to hand us over to people we barely know. Not hand you over, Sophia said gently. Give you a foundation. Support, love. We already had that, with you, Lily said brokenly. And you'll have it with them, Sophia insisted. If you let yourself. Martha had remained silent during this exchange, understanding that this was between mother and daughter. Now she spoke quietly. Lily, no one can replace your mother. No one would want to. Thomas and I only want to help, in whatever way you'll allow. Lily wiped her tears angrily. Easy for you to say. You get a ready-made family. What do I get? More loss, more change. You get people who will love you, Sophia said, her strength clearly fading. Who will help you achieve your dreams. Who will make sure Jake has everything he needs. Lily stood abruptly. I need some air. After she left, Sophia sighed, sinking back against her pillows. She's so much like me at that age. Stubborn, proud. She's hurting, Martha said gently, and afraid. Will you look after them? Sophia asked, her eyes beginning to drift closed. Even if she fights you every step of the way. With every ounce of love I have, Martha promised. Sophia nodded, her eyes closing completely. I knew you would. That's why I kept the locket. All these years, to remember that love is always waiting, if we're brave enough to accept it. As Sophia drifted into sleep, Martha remained by her side, holding her hand and watching the rise and fall of her chest. Outside in the hallway, she could see Lily through the window, pacing back and forth, her face a storm of emotions. Martha's heart ached for the girl. In the space of a few months, she had gone from being a normal teenager to caring for a dying mother and a young brother, with the weight of their future resting squarely on her shoulders. And now she was being asked to trust strangers with a claim on her mother's heart that predated her own existence, that it was too much to ask of anyone, let alone a and yet, it was what Sophia needed to find peace in her final days. From the corner of the room, Jake stirred from his nap, rubbing his eyes sleepily. "Is Mom okay?" he asked. "She's sleeping," Martha told him softly. "Just resting." Jake climbed from the recliner and came to stand beside Martha, looking down at his mother's peaceful face. "She looks better when she's asleep," he observed. "Not so hurting." "Yes," Martha agreed, putting an arm around his small shoulders. "She does." Jake leaned against her, accepting her comfort without question. "Mrs. W., when Mom goes to heaven, will we have to move away?" The simple question, asked with such innocent directness, brought fresh tears to Martha's eyes. "No, Jake, you won't have to move away, not if you don't want to." "Good," he said with a decisive nod, "because I like the flower shop, and I like you and Mr. Thomas." From the hallway, Lily watched this exchange through the window, her expression unreadable. Then she turned and walked away, disappearing around the corner, toward the hospital cafeteria. Martha sighed, 1 step forward with Jake, 2 steps back with Lily, but she had promised Sophia, and she would keep that promise no matter how difficult the path ahead might be. Sophia was released from the hospital 3 days later. Her condition stabilized enough for her to return home with hospice care. The doctors were clear this was not an improvement, merely a plateau before the final decline. But it allowed Sophia to be in her own space, surrounded by familiar things and memories. Bafa helped Lily prepare the apartment, arranging the hospital bed in the living room where Sophia could see out the window to the small park across the street. Thomas fixed the creaky front door and leaking bathroom faucet. Small repairs that had gone unattended during Sophia's illness. Through it all, Lily maintained a cool distance, accepting their help with grudging thanks, but never warming to their presence. She didn't return to work at the flower shop, texting Martha that she needed to focus on her mother's care. Martha respected her space, sending daily messages asking if they needed anything but not pushing for more involvement unless invited. The only bright spot was Jake, who still wanted to come to the flower shop after school, providing him a few hours of normalcy amid the chaos. "Lily's really sad," Jake confided one afternoon as he helped Martha water plants. "She pretends she's not, but I hear her crying in the bathroom sometimes." Martha nodded, her heart aching for both children. "It's okay to be sad, Jake, and it's okay to let people see you're sad. That's what Mom says too, but Lily says she has to be strong." Jake carefully tilted the watering can over a row of African violets. "I think being strong is making her extra grumpy. Sometimes people need space when they're hurting." Martha explained gently, "It doesn't mean she's angry with you." "I know," Jake said with the simple wisdom of children. "She's not mad at me. She's mad at everything." A week passed with no word from Lily, except through Jake. Then, on a rainy Tuesday, Thomas appeared at the shop with concerning news. "I stopped by their apartment to drop off some groceries," he explained, shaking rain from his coat. The building manager was there, putting up an eviction notice. Martha's stomach dropped. "Eviction for what?" "3 months of back rent," Thomas said grimly. "I spoke with him briefly. Apparently, Sophia had been keeping up with partial payments until last month, but now they're significantly behind." "Did you see Lily, or Sophia?" Thomas shook his head. "No one answered the door. I left the groceries with a note." Martha immediately tried calling Lily, but the call went straight to voicemail. She sent a text, "Please call me." Thomas saw the eviction notice. "We can help." Hours passed with no response. Martha closed the shop early and drove to the apartment, determined to offer assistance whether Lily wanted it or not. This time, the door opened to her knock. Lily stood in the entrance, her face drawn with exhaustion. "What do you want?" "To help," Martha said simply. "May I come in?" Lily hesitated, then stepped back reluctantly. The apartment was small but clean, with worn furniture and faded curtains. A hospital bed occupied most of the living room, but Sophia wasn't in it. "Mom's having a good day," Lily explained, following Martha's gaze. "She's in her room, actually sitting up in her real bed." "That's wonderful," Martha said sincerely. "Lily, Thomas told me about the eviction notice." Lily's expression hardened. "It's none of your business. It is if you and Jake and Sophia are about to lose your home," Martha countered gently. "How much is owed?" "I can handle it," Lily insisted, crossing her arms defensively. "I'm sure you can," Martha said, "but you don't have to handle it alone." Lily's composure cracked slightly. $3,800, she admitted. Mom was using her savings to cover the difference between disability payments and our expenses. But the hospital bills, double quotes, she trailed off. Let me help, Martha urged. Please, Lily. Why? Lily demanded, her voice rising. So you can swoop in and play hero, so Mom will think you're some kind of saint. No, Martha said quietly. Because I care about you. And because no one should have to face something like this alone. Before Lily could respond, a weak voice called from the bedroom. Lily, who's here? It's Martha, Lily called back, her expression conflicted. Send her in, Sophia requested. Lily gestured toward the bedroom door, her mouth a tight line. Martha entered to find Sophia propped up with pillows, looking frail but alert. Her face brightened when she saw Martha. You came, she said, extending a thin hand. Martha took it gently, sitting on the edge of the bed. Of course I did. How are you feeling? Better today, Sophia said, though the effort of speaking was clearly taxing. Did you bring Jake? He's at school, Martha reminded her. I'll bring him by later if you'd like. Sophia nodded, then her expression grew serious. You know about the eviction. Yes, Martha confirmed. Lily told me. She's too proud to ask for help, Sophia said, a ghost of a smile touching her lips. Like mother, like daughter. I've offered to help with the rent, Martha said. But Lily's reluctant, Sophia sighed. She's afraid of being indebted. Of needing anyone. I understand, Martha said. But this isn't charity, Sophia. It's family helping family. Sophia's eyes filled with tears. You still think of me that way? As family? After everything? Always, Martha assured her, squeezing her hand. You never stopped being the daughter of my heart. From the doorway, Lily watched this exchange, her own eyes suspiciously bright. She retreated to the kitchen without a word. When Martha left the bedroom, she found Lily aggressively washing dishes, her back rigid with tension. Lily, Martha began. Fine. Lily cut her off. Pay the rent if you want to. I'll pay you back eventually. That's not necessary, Martha said gently. Lily spun around, eyes flashing. It is to me. I'm not some charity case for you to save. I'm not some replacement for the daughter you lost. Martha stepped back, stung by the words. Is that what you think, that I'm trying to replace Sophia with you, aren't you? Lily challenged. The poor foster mother, finally reunited with her long-lost child, only to find she's dying. So now you'll settle for her children instead. That's not fair, Lily, Martha said quietly. Fair? Lily laughed bitterly. None of this is fair. My mother is dying. My brother is 8 years old and barely understands what's happening. We're about to be homeless, and suddenly these strangers appear, claiming to be family, trying to take over our lives. Martha took a deep breath. You're right. It's not fair. None of it. And I can't imagine how overwhelming this all must be for you. But Lily, we're not trying to take over. We're trying to help. I didn't ask for your help, Lily muttered, but the fight was draining from her voice. No, you didn't, Martha acknowledged. But sometimes, help comes anyway. That's what family does. Lily turned back to the sink, her shoulders slumping. Just do whatever you want about the rent, but don't expect me to be grateful. Martha recognized it for the concession. It was the closest Lily could come to accepting help while maintaining her pride. I'll take care of it today, she promised, moving toward the door. And Lily, the job at the flower shop is still yours, whenever you're ready. Lily didn't respond, and Martha left quietly, her heart heavy with the knowledge that the bridge to Lily's trust would be much harder to build than the one to Jake's. But she would keep trying, one careful step at a time. The call came at 2:17 a.m. Jolting Martha from a fitful sleep, she fumbled for her phone in the darkness, her heart already racing with dread. Hello, she whispered, Thomas stirring beside her. Mrs. Winters. Lily's voice was high and tight with panic. It's Mom. Something's wrong. She can't breathe, and the hospice nurse isn't answering, and I don't know what to do. I'm on my way, Martha said, already swinging her legs out of bed. Have you called Yes, they're coming. But Lily's voice broke. I'm scared. Jake's scared. Can you come? I'll be there in 15 minutes, Martha promised. Just stay on the line with me until the ambulance arrives. Thomas was already pulling on pants, reaching for his cane. I'm coming too, he said firmly. Your knee, damn my knee, he interrupted. Sophia needs us, both of us. They dressed quickly, Martha keeping Lily on the phone. As they hurried to the car, she could hear Jake crying in the background, and Sophia's labored breathing, a terrible, gasping sound that made Martha's blood run cold. "The ambulance is here," Lily said suddenly. "I have to go." "We'll meet you at the hospital," Martha assured her. The emergency room was chaotic when they arrived, but a nurse directed them to a family waiting area, where they found Lily and Jake huddled together on a vinyl sofa. Jake was asleep, tear tracks still visible on his flushed face. Lily looked up when they entered, her expression a mixture of relief and exhaustion. "They took her right back," she said without preamble. Said her oxygen levels were dangerously low. Martha sat beside her, while Thomas settled carefully into a chair opposite, his knee extended stiffly. "Have the doctors told you anything?" Lily shook her head. "Just that they're working on stabilizing her." She made air quotes around the phrase, her voice bitter. "That's what they always say." They sat in silence for several minutes, the only sounds the ambient noises of the hospital and Jake's soft breathing. Finally, Lily spoke again, her voice so low Martha had to lean closer to hear. "What if this is it?" she whispered. "What if she dies tonight?" Martha put an arm around the girl's shoulders, half expecting her to pull away. Instead, Lily leaned into the touch, her rigid posture finally crumbling. "I'm not ready," she admitted, her voice breaking. "I thought I was, but I'm not." "No one ever is," Martha said gently. "Not really." Thomas leaned forward, his kind eyes fixed on Lily. "When my father was dying, a wise nurse told me something I've never forgotten," she said. "Death isn't a single moment, it's a process. And so is saying goodbye." Lily looked at him questioningly. "You've been saying goodbye to your mother in small ways for months," Thomas explained. "Every time you adjusted to a new normal, every time you took on another responsibility, every time you showed strength you didn't know you had, you've been preparing, even if it doesn't feel like it." Lily considered this, absently stroking Jake's hair as he slept against her side. "Maybe," she conceded, "but it still feels like there's so much left unsaid." "Then say it," Martha encouraged. "While there's still time, even if she's unconscious, talk to her. Tell her everything in your heart." Before Lily could respond, a doctor in scrubs approached, his expression grave. "Ms. Martinez." "I'm Dr. Patel. I've been treating your mother." Lily stood, carefully extracting herself from Jake. "How is she?" "We've managed to stabilize her for now," Dr. Patel said, his voice gentle but direct. "But I need to be honest with you. Your mother's cancer has metastasized extensively. The latest scan shows significant progression in her lungs and liver. Her body is simply wearing out." "What does that mean?" Lily asked, though her tone suggested she already knew. "It means we can keep her comfortable, but we can't reverse the process." The doctor hesitated. "Has your family discussed end-of-life decisions?" Lily nodded stiffly. "Mom has a DNR, no extraordinary measures. That's consistent with her chart," Dr. Patel confirmed. "We've moved her to a private room on the 3rd floor, room 314. You can go up any time. I've ordered medications to keep her comfortable." But he trailed off, the unspoken truth hanging in the air. "But she's dying," Lily finished for him. "Tonight or tomorrow?" "It's likely, yes," the doctor acknowledged. "I'm very sorry." After he left, Lily stood frozen for a moment, then turned to Martha and Thomas. "I need to get Jake home. He shouldn't see her like this. Not at the end." "I can take him," Thomas offered. "Our guest room is all made up. He can sleep there, and I'll bring him back in the morning if ... double quotes. He didn't finish the sentence. Lily hesitated, then nodded. "Thank you. I'll wake him up to explain." While Lily gently roused Jake, Martha pulled Thomas aside. "Are you sure about this? Your knee will be fine," he assured her. "You stay with Lily and Sophia. That's where you're needed most." After Thomas left with a sleepy, confused Jake, Martha and Lily made their way to the 3rd floor. Outside room 314, Lily paused, her hand on the door. "I don't know if I can do this," she whispered. Martha took her hand gently. "You can, and you don't have to do it alone." They entered to find Sophia lying still and pale, an oxygen mask covering most of her face. The monitors beeped softly, tracking her weakening vital signs. Lily approached the bed cautiously, as if afraid her mother might suddenly disappear. "Mom," she said softly. "It's me." Sophia's eyes fluttered open, focusing with visible effort. She lifted a hand weakly, and Lily took it, sinking into the chair beside the bed. "My beautiful girl," Sophia whispered, her voice barely audible beneath the mask. Don't try to talk, Lily urged. Save your strength. Sophia shook her head slightly. No need for that now. Her gaze shifted to Martha, standing just behind Lily. You came. Of course, Martha said, moving closer. We both did. Thomas took Jake to our house to rest. Sophia nodded faintly, her eyes closing briefly before she forced them open again. Good. He shouldn't see this part. Mom, please, Lily begged, tears streaming down her face. Just rest. Try to save your energy. Listen to me, Sophia insisted, her voice surprisingly firm despite its weaknesses. No more time, for waiting, for pride. Her gaze moved between Lily and Martha. You are my greatest gifts to each other. Let yourselves love each other. Lily sobbed openly now, clutching her mother's hand. I'm not ready to lose you. You won't, Sophia assured her. Not really. I'll be in your heart. In Jake's heart. In the way you see the world. Her breathing grew more labored. Martha, I'm here, Martha said, moving to the other side of the bed and taking Sophia's free hand. Thank you. For finding us, Sophia whispered. For loving me, even when I ran. Always, Martha promised, her own tears falling freely. You were always loved, Sophia. Always. Sophia's eyes drifted between the two women, at her bedside the daughter of her body and the mother of her heart, finally brought together as she had always feared they might never be. My family, she whispered, a peaceful smile touching her lips, complete at last. Her eyes closed, and this time, they didn't open again. Sophia lingered through the night, her breathing growing increasingly shallow, until, just as dawn broke, she slipped away peacefully. Lily had fallen asleep with her head on the edge of the hospital bed, her hands still clutching her mother's. Martha, who had maintained a silent vigil in the corner chair, was the one who noticed first the subtle change in the room, the cessation of Sophia's labored breathing. She rose quietly and placed a gentle hand on Lily's shoulder, waking her. Lily, she said softly, she's gone. Lily's head snapped up, her eyes wild with panic before focusing on her mother's still face. Mom, she whispered, touching Sophia's cheek. Mom. When there was no response, Lily's face crumpled. She laid her head on her mother's chest and wept deep, gut-wrenching sobs that seemed to come from her very soul. Martha stood beside her, one hand resting lightly on the girl's heaving shoulders, offering silent support but not intruding on her grief. After several minutes, Lily straightened, wiping her face with trembling hands. What do I do now? She asked, her voice small and lost. First, we say goodbye, Martha said gently. Take all the time you need. Lily nodded, turning back to her mother. She smoothed Sophia's hair, adjusted the blanket around her shoulders, and spoke in whispers too low for Martha to hear private words between mother and daughter. Finally, she stood. I need to call the hospice people and figure out funeral arrangements. Her voice broke on the last words. Let me help with that, Martha offered. Thomas and I can handle the practical details. Lily hesitated, then nodded, too exhausted to argue. Thank you. The next few days passed in a blur of arrangements. Martha and Thomas paid for the funeral, ignoring Lily's weak protests. They helped clean out Sophia's apartment, boxing keepsakes for the children, and donating what they couldn't use. Jake was subdued but surprisingly resilient, finding comfort in practical tasks and in helping Martha create a beautiful floral arrangement for his mother's casket. Lily moved through these days like a sleepwalker, going through the motions but rarely speaking beyond what was necessary. She accepted Martha and Thomas's help with cold efficiency, maintaining an emotional distance even as they took care of everything from funeral programs to thank you notes. The service was small but beautiful, held in a chapel filled with flowers from Martha's shop. Sophia's co-workers attended, along with a few neighbors and Jake's teacher. Martha and Thomas sat in the front row with Lily and Jake, a family united in grief, if not yet in heart. Afterward, they returned to Martha and Thomas's house for a small reception. Jake fell asleep on the couch, emotionally drained, while the adults spoke in hushed tones in the kitchen. The apartment manager called, Lily said abruptly, setting down her untouched cup of tea. He wants to know when we'll be out. The rent's paid through the end of the month, but he already has new tenants lined up. Martha exchanged a glance with Thomas. Lily, she began carefully, our offer still stands. You and Jake are welcome here, We have plenty of room. I don't know, Lily said, staring into her cup. It feels like giving up somehow. Like admitting we can't make it on our own. It's not giving up, Thomas said gently. It's accepting help when you need it most. There's strength in that too. Lily looked up, her eyes hollow with exhaustion and grief. What if it doesn't work out? What if we don't fit together? Then, we'll figure something else out, Martha assured her. But Lily, this doesn't have to be permanent if you don't want it to be. Think of it as a transition, a safe place to catch your breath while you decide what comes next. And Jake, Lily asked. He already adores you both. What if we move in, and then I decide to leave? It would break his heart all over again. We'll cross that bridge if we come to it, Thomas said. But for now, you both need stability and support. We can provide that. Lily was silent for a long moment, weighing her limited options. Finally, she nodded. Okay, but just until I figure out what to do next, and I'll pay rent. No rent, Martha said firmly, but you can help around the house, and shop if you want to feel like you're contributing. Lily nodded again, some of the tension leaving her shoulders. I'd like to keep working at the flower shop, if the offer still stands. Of course it does, Martha assured her. Whenever you're ready. 2 days later, they moved what remained of Lily and Jake's belongings into Martha and Thomas's home, Jake into the bright guest room overlooking the garden, Lily into the smaller room next door that had once been Sophia's. Martha had cleared it of most personal items, but left a few touches the hand-knitted Afghan Sophia had loved, the small collection of botanical sketches she had drawn as a teenager. When Lily saw these, she paused in the doorway, her expression unreadable. These were hers, from before. Martha nodded. She was so talented. I encouraged her to pursue art, but she was more practical, wanted a steady career that could support a family. Lily ran her fingers over one of the drawings, a delicate rendering of a tiger lily. She kept drawing, you know. All my life she had sketchbooks full of flowers, trees, landscapes. She looked around the room. Was this her bedroom? When she lived with you? Yes, Martha confirmed. We've redecorated over the years, but the bones are the same. Lily set down the backpack she'd been carrying and sat on the edge of the bed, suddenly overwhelmed. It's strange, she said quietly, being here, where she was, before me, before everything went wrong. Martha leaned against the doorframe, giving Lily space. Nothing went wrong. Lily, your mother made a choice that led to you and Jake. How could that be wrong? But she ran away from a good home, Lily insisted, from people who loved her. For what? A harder life, struggle, poverty. For you, Martha said simply. She chose you, and I believe she never regretted that choice. For a moment, Lily looked up, tears welling in her eyes. But what if she did? What if sometimes, in the hardest moments, she wished she'd stayed here, made different choices? Martha crossed the room and sat beside Lily on the bed. We all have moments of what if, but Sophia told me herself that she had a good life, difficult at times, yes, but good. She found love with David, she had you and Jake, she built a career she was proud of. But she could have had all that and you too, Lily argued, if she'd just stayed, or come back. Perhaps, Martha acknowledged, but we can't rewrite the past, Lily. We can only move forward, honoring the love that connects us, all past, present, and future. Lily nodded, wiping away tears. I miss her so much already. I know, Martha said softly. I missed her for 30 years, but now I have you. And Jake, pieces of her that live on. She hesitated, then added, if you'll let us, Thomas and I would be honored to be part of your lives. Not replacing your mother, no one could ever do that, but adding to the circle of people who love you. Lily didn't respond directly, but she didn't pull away when Martha placed a gentle arm around her shoulders. They sat that way for several minutes, two women connected by their love for the same remarkable soul who had shaped both their lives in profoundly different ways. From downstairs came the sound of Jake's laughter as Thomas showed him how to make his famous pancakes. The simple, ordinary sound of life continuing, of new connections forming, even as they all navigated the raw edges of grief. I should go help, Lily said finally, standing up. Lily, Martha said as the girl reached the door, thank you for letting us be here for you. It means more than you know. Lily paused, her hand on the doorframe. Mom made me promise to let you love me, she said, quietly. I'm trying, it's just, hard. Opening up again, when it hurts so much. I know, Martha said. Take all the time you need. We're not going anywhere. As Lily descended the stairs to join her brother, Martha remained seated on the bed that had once been Sophia's, surrounded by echoes of the past, while the sounds of a new beginning drifted up from below. The transition wasn't seamless. For the first week, Lily moved through the house like a ghost, speaking only when necessary, retreating to her room as soon as dinner was finished. Jake, by contrast, bloomed in the stable environment, eagerly helping Thomas in the garden and following Martha around the flower shop after school. "Give her time," Thomas advised Martha one evening as they washed dishes together, watching through the window as Lily sat alone on the back porch swing. "Grief isn't linear, and she's lost more than just Sophia. She's lost her role as head of the household, her independence." "I know," Martha sighed. "I just wish I could ease her pain somehow." "The best thing you can do is be consistently present," Thomas said. "Eventually, she'll see that accepting help doesn't mean surrendering her identity." Slowly, almost imperceptibly, things began to change. Lily started joining them for evening television instead of disappearing to her room. She began helping with dinner preparation without being asked. Small steps, but meaningful ones. 3 weeks after moving in, Lily approached Martha in the garden, where she was cutting fresh roses for the shop. "I'd like to go back to work," she said without preamble. "At the flower shop, if you still need help." Martha smiled, handing her a pair of gardening shears. "We always need help." "When would you like to start?" "Tomorrow," Lily suggested. "After school." "Perfect," Martha agreed. "And Lily, thank you." Lily nodded awkwardly before adding, "Jake mentioned he needs help with a science project, something about plant growth. I told him you'd probably have ideas." It was an olive branch, Lily acknowledging Martha's role in Jake's life, and Martha accepted it as such. "I'd be happy to help him. Thomas was a science teacher. You know, he'd probably have even better suggestions." Lily's eyebrows rose slightly. "I didn't know that 35 years teaching high school biology," Martha confirmed. "He retired just before we moved the shop to its current location." "Jake would love that," Lily said. "He's really into science lately." A moment of comfortable silence stretched between them, the first since Sophia's death. "I found Mom's sketchbooks yesterday," Lily said suddenly. "When I was going through some boxers we brought from the apartment. There were dozens of them." "She was so talented," Martha said softly. "There were drawings of you and Thomas," Lily continued. "Recent ones. She must have looked you up online or something." "Found photos?" Martha's breath caught. "Really?" Lily nodded. "And there were letters. Ones she wrote to you but never sent. About me and Jake, about her life." She hesitated. "You can read them, if you want." "I think she would have wanted that." "Thank you," Martha said, deeply touched by the gesture. "I'd be honored." That evening, Lily brought down a box of sketchbooks and a bundle of letters tied with a faded ribbon. They spread them across the dining table, Martha and Thomas examining them with reverent hands, while Lily watched silently. The drawings were exquisite flowers and landscapes, but also portraits. Many of Lily and Jake at various ages. Some of David, and as Lily had said, several of Martha and Thomas, clearly drawn from photographs found online. "Look at this one," Thomas said softly, holding up a sketch of their flower shop she must have visited. "The details are too perfect to be from a photo." "She said she tried to find us," Martha remembered. "Perhaps she did, but couldn't bring herself to come inside." The letters were equally moving, years of Sophia's thoughts and experiences, addressed to Martha and Thomas but never sent. Her pride in Lily's academic achievements, her joy when Jake was born, her grief when David died. The last letter, dated just months before her diagnosis, expressed regret for the years of separation and a resolve to finally reconnect. "She was going to contact you," Lily said, watching their faces as they read. "Before she got sick, she talked about it all the time." "I wish she had," Martha said, wiping away tears. "But I'm grateful we found each other in the end." Lily nodded, then excused herself to check on Jake, leaving Martha and Thomas to continue reading Sophia's words. It was another small step, Lee sharing these precious artifacts, allowing them into Sophia's inner world and, by extension, her own. The following weeks established new routines. Lily worked at the flower shop 3 afternoons a week, gradually taking on more responsibility. She enrolled in community college courses, pursuing the business degree she'd put on hold when Sophia became ill. Jake thrived in school, especially after Thomas began tutoring him in science. Martha converted the small sunroom into a studio space, filling it with art supplies and Sophia's sketchbooks for inspiration. She invited Jake to join her there on weekends teaching him the basics of drawing, as Sophia once had. To her surprise, Lily occasionally joined them, revealing a talent for botanical illustration that rivaled her mother's. "You should take an art class," Martha suggested one Saturday as they sketched together. "The community college has excellent programs." "Maybe," Lily said, carefully shading a rose petal. "Mom always wanted me to develop my drawing skills, but there was never time or money for lessons." "There's time now," Martha said gently. Lily looked up, her expression thoughtful. "Yeah, I guess there is." That night, Martha found Lily sitting on the back porch swing, wrapped in a blanket against the autumn chill. She hesitated, not wanting to intrude on Lily's solitude. "You can join me," Lily said, noticing her in the doorway. "I'm just thinking." Ma sat beside her, and they swung in companionable silence for several minutes. "I enrolled in an art class today," Lily said finally. "Botanical illustration. It starts next month." "That's wonderful," Martha said sincerely. "Mom would be happy," Lily continued. "She always said art fed the soul in ways nothing else could." "She was right about that," Martha agreed. "I'm glad we're here," Lily said abruptly, the words coming out in a rush. "Jake and me. It's been ... good for us. For him especially, but ... double quotes." She took a deep breath. "For me too." Martha's heart swelled, but she kept her voice steady. "We're glad too. More than you know." Lily fingered the silver locket. At her throat, Sophia's locket, now hers. "Mom would be pleased. Seeing us all together like this." "Yes," Martha said softly. "I believe she would." They continued swinging gently, two women connected by love for the same person, slowly building a bridge between past and future, grief and hope, ending and beginning. Winter gave way to spring, bringing with it the anniversary of Sophia's death. The day dawned clear and mild, birds singing in the flowering cherry tree outside Lily's window. She woke early, her hand automatically reaching for the silver locket that never left her neck, her mother's most precious possession, now hers. Downstairs, she found Martha already in the kitchen, arranging purple lisiantha, Sophia's favorite, in a small vase. "I thought we could take these to the cemetery," Martha said quietly. "If you'd like." Lily nodded, grateful for Martha's remembrance. "Jake wants to come too. He's been talking about it all week." "Of course," Martha agreed. "Thomas is making blueberry pancakes for breakfast first. Sophia's favorite, he says." "They were," Lily confirmed, a small smile touching her lips. She always requested them on her birthday. These moments had become more frequent shared memories of Sophia, bridging the years of separation, weaving together the different phases of her life into a more complete picture. After breakfast, they visited the cemetery, placing flowers on Sophia's simple grave. Jake had made a card, illustrated with careful drawings of flowers and trees. Lily stood silently, one hand on her brother's shoulder, the other clutching the locket. "You're holding it so tightly," Martha observed as they walked back to the car. "The locket." Lily nodded. "It makes me feel closer to her somehow." "She treasured it," Martha said. "From the day I gave it to her until ... double quotes." She trailed off. "Until she gave it to me," Lily finished. "On my 16th birthday, just like you gave it to her." Back at home, Thomas announced he was taking Jakefish, gentle way of giving Lily space on this difficult day. After they left, Lily retreated to the sunroom studio, absently sketching while lost in memories. Martha joined her sometime later, carrying a small wooden box. "I found something I thought you might want to see," she said, sitting beside Lily on the window seat. Inside the box was a collection of old photographs, cards, and small mementos. "These are from when Sophia lived with us," Martha explained. "I've kept them all these years." Lily examined the contents with reverent hands. Sophia at the beach. Sophia blowing out birthday candles. Sophia holding up a school award with proud smile. "She looks happy," Lily observed. "She was, much of the time," Martha confirmed. "It took a while, but eventually she felt safe with us." Loved. The bottom of the box was a small velvet jewelry case. Martha lifted it out carefully. "This was meant to go with the locket," she explained, opening it to reveal a delicate silver chain with a tiny key pendant. "I was going to give it to her for Christmas, but she was gone by then," Lily finished. Martha nodded. "The key has a purpose, actually." She gestured to the locket around Lily's neck. "May I?" Curious, Lily unclasped the locket and handed it to Martha. Instead of opening it normally, Martha turned it over, revealing a nearly invisible seam along the edge. She inserted the tiny key into an equally tiny hole on the back, turning it gently until a soft click sounded. The locket has a secret compartment, Martha explained, carefully opening a hidden panel to reveal a small folded piece of paper. I tucked a note inside before giving it to Sophia. I don't know if she ever found it. Lily stared at the yellowed slip of paper, her heart pounding. Have you read it? Since then, I mean. Martha shook her head. It was meant for Sophia. With trembling fingers, Lily unfolded the note. The handwriting was Martha's, the ink faded but still legible. You are always loved. No matter where life takes you, no matter how far you roam, you carry my heart with you. Tears filled Lily's eyes. She found it, she whispered. She must have. It's why she kept the locket all those years. Why she valued it so much. Do you think so? Martha asked, her own eyes bright with unshed tears. Lily nodded, remembering her mother's hands carefully polishing the silver, the way she would sometimes hold it while lost in thought. She never took it off. Not until she got too sick and gave it to me. She refolded the note carefully. She must have read these words thousands of times over the years. Martha wiped away a tear. I hope they brought her comfort. I think they did, Lily said. More than you know. She hesitated, then added, she used to say the same thing to me and Jake. You are always loved. Exactly those words, I think. I think she was passing on what you taught her about love. Martha's hand flew to her mouth, overcome with emotion. Oh, Sophia, she whispered. They sat together in silence for several moments, the note and locket between them tangible links connecting 3 generations of women. I have something to show you too, Lily said finally, rising and leaving the room briefly. She returned with one of Sophia's sketchbooks, opening it to a page marked with a ribbon dot. It was a drawing of Martha and Thomas, clearly rendered from memory rather than a photograph. They were standing in front of the old flower shop, arms around each other, smiling warmly. Below the sketch, Sophia had written, "The ones who taught me what family means. Someday, I'll find the courage to thank them." She drew this years ago, Lily explained, long before she got sick. She used to tell us stories about a kind couple who owned a flower shop, who taught her about plants and art and business. I never realized she was talking about real people, about you and Thomas. Martha traced the drawing with gentle fingers. She remembered us. Of course she did, Lily said softly. You were her first real family, the ones who showed her what love was supposed to look like, and she created that for you and Jake. Martha observed, despite everything, despite how young she was, she gave you the stability and love she found with us. She did, Lily agreed, tears streaming freely now. And now you're doing it again, for us. Martha reached out, gently tucking a strand of hair behind Lily's era maternal gesture she'd never risked before. The circle continues, she said. Love passing from generation to generation. Lily didn't pull away from the touch. Instead, she took Martha's hand and pressed it against the locket, now back around her neck. I think I'd like to add my own note, she said, to the secret compartment. Something for Jake someday, or for my own children. I think that would be beautiful, Martha said, her heart full. Outside, they could hear Thomas and Jake returning, Jake's excited voice recounting the fish they'd caught and released, life continuing, new memories forming alongside the cherished old ones. Thank you, Lily said suddenly, for finding us, for not giving up. Never, Martha said, squeezing her hand. Just like the note says, you are always loved. Both of you, no matter what. For the first time, Lily didn't stiffen at the words or look away. Instead, she squeezed Martha's hand in return. I know, she said. I'm beginning to understand that now. 1 year later, the bell above the flower shop door jingled. As Martha entered, arms laden with fresh-cut dahlias from her garden, the summer morning was already warm, promising a busy day ahead. Morning, Lily called from behind the counter, where she was skillfully arranging roses in a crystal vase. At 19, she had blossomed in the past year, more confident, her natural talents with flowers and design flourishing under Martha's guidance. Those dahlias are gorgeous, she commented, finishing the arrangement with a sprig of baby's breath, for the Peterson wedding. Yes, Martha confirmed, setting the flowers in a bucket of water. Where's Jake? In the back with Thomas, working on that science project for the summer fair. Martha smiled. Jake had thrived in their household, his natural intelligence nurtured by Thomas's patient teaching. At 9, he was already talking about becoming a botanist like Mr. Thomas, but with flowers instead of frogs. The shop had changed too, reflecting Lily's growing influence. She had redesigned the window displays, created a popular Instagram account for the business, and introduced a line of botanical greeting cards featuring her own illustrations drawings that echoed Sophia's artistic style while establishing her own unique perspective. "We had a call from the Riverside Hospice Center," Lily said, checking her notebook. "They want to increase their standing order to twice weekly. I said we'd be happy to accommodate them." Martha nodded approvingly. The hospice center had been Lily's idea, offering discounted arrangements to brighten the rooms of patients in their final days. "That's wonderful news." The morning progressed with the comfortable rhythm they had established over the past year. Lily managed the front of the shop with natural grace, while Martha worked on special orders in the back. Thomas and Jake appeared at lunchtime, bringing sandwiches for everyone, before heading home to continue their project. Just after the lunch rush, the bell jingled again. Lily looked up to see a teenage girl, perhaps 15, hovering awkwardly near the door. "Can I help you?" she asked. The girl approached the counter hesitantly. I was just looking." Lily recognized the expression, the mixture of hunger and calculation. She watched as the girl's eyes darted to a small display of individually wrapped cookies near the register, a new addition to the shop that had proven popular with customers. "Are you hungry?" Lily asked, directly but kindly. The girl stiffened, turning toward the door. "No, sorry to bother you." "Wait, Lily Cole, please. I'm about to have my break. I'd love some company while I eat." She gestured to the small table in the corner, where they sometimes served tea to special customers. The girl hesitated, clearly suspicious, but tempted. "Why?" Lily smiled. "Because someone once did the same for me, when I needed it most." Something in her tone must have reassured the girl, because she allowed Lily to lead her to the table. Martha, watching from the workroom doorway, recognized what was happening and quietly prepared a tray with tea, cookies, and sandwiches left over from lunch. "I'm Lily," she said, setting the tray on the table. "And this is Martha. She owns the shop." "Amy," the girl mumbled, eyeing the food with poorly concealed longing. "Please, help yourself," Martha encouraged, before tactfully retreating to give them privacy. As Amy devoured a sandwich, Lily chatted casually about the shop, school, anything that might put the girl at ease. Gradually, Amy's wariness lessened. "My mom's sick," she said suddenly, between bites of cookie. "Can't work right now. Things are tight." Lily nodded, understanding perfectly. "My mom was sick too. Cancer. She died last year." Amy's eyes widened. "I'm sorry." "Me too," Lily said, "but I was lucky. I found family I didn't know I had." She glanced toward Martha, who was assisting a customer across the shop. "Actually, they found me." "That's good, I guess," Amy said uncertainly. "It is," Lily confirmed. "But before that, I was where you are now, trying to take care of everything myself, too proud to ask for help." Amy looked down, acknowledging the truth with her silence. "We need help here at the shop," Lily continued casually. "After school, weekends, pays 15 an hour, cash." "Interested?" Amy's head snapped up. "Are you serious?" "Completely," Lily assured her. "Martha taught me everything about flowers. I could teach you." As they discussed the details, Martha approached with a small arrangement of cheerful daisies. "For your mother," she said, handing it to the stunned teenager. "Flowers brighten even the darkest days." Later, after Amy had left with the flowers, her contact information written in Lily's notebook, and a promise to return the next day, Martha turned to Lily with a knowing smile. "That was a beautiful thing you did," she said. Lily shrugged, but couldn't hide her pleased expression. "Just paying it forward. Like you did for me." Martha wrapped an arm around Lily's shoulders, and this time Lily leaned into the embrace without hesitation. The past year had transformed their relationship from wary coexistence to genuine affection. The road hadn't always been smooth. Lily's grief and independence had sometimes clashed with Martha's protective instincts, but they had weathered the storms together. "Your mother would be so proud of you," Martha said softly. "I know," Lily agreed, her hand rising to touch the silver locket that still hung around her neck. "I feel her with me sometimes, especially here in the shop." The locket now held 3 notes in its secret compartment. Martha's original message to Sophia, a note Sophia had added for Lily that they'd discovered among her things, and Lily's own edition, written on the anniversary of her mother's death. "Love doesn't end with goodbye. It transforms, it continues, it finds new paths to follow." You are always loved. I was thinking, Lily said, straightening a display of greeting cards. Maybe we could start a scholarship program for kids who've lost parents to help with college expenses. That's a wonderful idea, Martha said. We could name it after Sophia. Lily nodded, her eyes bright. The Sophia Martinez Memorial Scholarship for Second Chances. As the afternoon sun slanted through the shop windows, highlighting the colorful blooms that surrounded them, Martha was struck by the perfect symmetry of their journey. 30 years ago, she had given a troubled girl a silver locket and a message of unconditional love. That girl had carried that message through her own life, passing it to her children, and now her daughter was extending the same lifeline to another struggling teenager. The circle was complete. That evening, as they sat around the dinner table, Martha and Thomas, Lily and Jake, sharing stories and laughter, Martha felt Sophia's presence acutely, not as a ghost or a shadow, but as the invisible thread that had drawn them all together, weaving their separate lives into a tapestry of found family and chosen love. Jake was animatedly describing his science project, Thomas listening with grandfatherly pride. Lily caught Martha's eye across the table and smiled, a genuine, unguarded smile that reached all the way to her eyes. "Thank you," she mouthed silently. Martha smiled back, her heart full. The journey had been long and often painful, but every step had led them here to this moment, this family, this love that transcended blood and time and even death. Somewhere, she was certain, Sophia was smiling too. Have you ever experienced an unexpected reunion that changed your life? Comment below if this story touched your heart, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with someone who believes in second chances.